breakfast session. Over the next 1 hour, while you enjoy your breakfast, we'll delve into thought-provoking topics that are relevant to both professional and personal dimensions of our practice. Let's begin with our first session. I'll now invite Dr. Sumesh T. Rao to chair this session. Also, the first speaker, we'd like to invite Dr. Vasant Kumar K.R.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to introduce Dr. Vasant Kumar, Professor of Anesthesiology and Medical Superintendent at the MVJ, MC and RH, with 34 plus years in anesthesiology. Sir has a lot of publications and has done quite a lot of lectures in national and international forums. Thank you very much for this first session, sir.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you, sir. Thank you for introduction. Nice introduction. Yeah, today I'm going to talk something about work-life balance. It is unconventional yet very professional, unacademic yet very relevant, non-linear yet very useful topic actually. It is all the professionals needs balance, especially anesthesiologist. I'm going to talk with the relevance of the anesthesiologist, the work-life balance. The topic is actually today is coffee, breakfast, case load, all those things it comes actually. The problem with the most of the professionals are when we are doing something, usually we don't concentrate on that. When we are having coffee, we are going to discuss about the case. When we are doing the case, we will be thinking about the food and other things. That is the biggest problem. That's why we always under stress continuously. We will never be in the presence. Always try to be in the future or past. That's why we struggle to cope up with most of our work-life balance. That's why the most important word is mindful or mindful. Most of the times we will be in the part of the word, first part of the word where mind is always we will have full of thinking, some other thinking. That's why we get into stress and problems. See, it is very simple. Birth is incidental, death is inevitable, and life is unavoidable. In Kannada, beautifully we say, Huttu anishtita, savu nishtita, baduku anivarya. In between, we have to live peacefully and happily. That is very important when compared to what we achieve in our profession or anything. Especially being anesthesiologist, because most of the times we get into depression because of so many factors. As I'm going to discuss in the later slides. We have to have a wonderful life and happy life, but problem is most of the times our happiness is outsourced instead of it is in-source. When we outsource the happiness, especially for the materialistic things, automatically we get into depression because we don't have control on most of the outsourced things. When our happiness is outsourced, we struggle to have the happiness. Instead of that, we should have the in-source of the happiness. Then automatically, we will be happy in spite of, irrespective of so many problems or so many persons. And the life management is simple. It is always, you have to be physically useful, mentally peaceful, spiritually you should be grateful. Then only you become socially useful. Otherwise, you are going to be wasteful. That's why actually we have to be physically, we have to take care of our physical activities so that it should be useful, and mentally also always we want to be peaceful. We have to have the control of our mental stability and emotional stabilities, and spiritually we should be always grateful. Without spirituality, human being cannot be survive. But I know yesterday a lot of people have become spiritual by having spirit inside. That doesn't mean they are real spiritual. It was because some external factor was inside and they become spiritual. That's why they say spirituality you get it only in two places. One in wine shop, another one is divine shop. The spirituality you can get it in only two places, wine shop or divine shop. Try to have it in the divine shop so that we can have a happy and wonderful life. And nowadays it is wherever you go, we talk about the development. we are so much developed, especially in Mangaluru area and Visakhapatnam. Previously, I was in Visakhapatnam and some part of the Bangalore. We see only apartment. We live in the apartment because we cannot afford to have a land on the real, because of the real estate, and spend most of our time in the department. That's why developmental, apartmental, departmental. That's why, see, actually it is so beautifully it is mentioned, mental, mental, mental. That's why we are spending all our time in these areas, and we are really becoming mental nowadays. More of psychological problems we are suffering. Departmental, developmental, apartmental, all these things. And we are, what type of people we are producing? We are producing a well-educated but mentally abnormal population. And wherever you go, you see day starts with most of the family, day starts with B complex, ends with the anxiolytics. These are even the professionals. And small young female anesthesiologists are actually dying because of the heart attack, and where they cannot able to withstand the stress what they are facing it. And we are all well dressed but highly stressed, and emotionally we are all depressed. This is what actually type of professionals we are producing because of it is social problems. When we don't bring balance between our work and life, when we run behind the happiness, when we go in search of the happiness, or when we run behind money, this is what happens actually. What type of professionals we are producing? Pathetic pathologist, nervous neurologist, heartless cardiologist, depressive psychiatrists, ruthless radiologists, mindless microbiologists, adentalous dentists, and aimless anesthesiologists. These are the types of professionals we are producing it because of the modern days stress. Actually, everybody is under stress, and they want to have a wonderful materialistic world where we are trying to find our all happiness, everything outside instead of inside. When you start looking within, we will be more happy than when we start looking outside. That's why we are always in search of happiness and health. See, it is very simple. If you take any car, if you take it as your life, then actually front wheels are personal and family life. Always we should give very importance to that one. And back wheels are social and professional life, and steering is spirituality. If you miss any balance in this 4 + 1, 5, you will land up in problem. If you don't have the proper steering, always you will land up in problem. If you don't have proper wheels, all 4 wheels are very, very important to run a wonderful life. This is what actually most of the people are not maintaining, that we try to have only back wheels. We want to run the car without steering and front wheels, then we are landing up in accidents. That's why if we are not mentally peaceful and emotionally strong, then what happens is, actually, when the situation we have to face with a real stress or something, because especially anesthesiologist has to face so many problems being multi-dimensional work. If you don't have the control on your emotions and mental stability, then what happens is we become mentally, if you have control, you become mentally strong. If you don't have the control, you become strongly mental. That's what actually the problem is. Second one, if you don't have the control, you will have a hopeless end. If you have the control, you will have endless hopes. And third one is, you can make it or break it. That's what actually life is. And always try to be happy from inside and be a good spiritual human being. Otherwise, what happens is, whenever situation squeezes any fruit or something, like lemon gives lemon juice, apple gives apple juice, whatever, orange gives orange juice. Same way, when situation squeezes you with the stress and other things, then automatically whatever you are, the same juice comes out. That means if you are getting a very bad juice, means we are basically from inside we are very bad people. Don't try to be like that. Try to improve by becoming more and more spiritual. And another biggest problem is modern days, we try to, even if you are under stress, depression, whatever it may be, we try to always have the pills. We think for everything there is a treatment is there and we want to take the treatment by taking the tablets, we can have the control. But for every ill, there is no pill. But for every pill, there is a bill. By paying bill, you get ill. It is better to be well, avoid ill, pill and bill. That is what actually the formula we should follow it in our life. And other things we can learn from beautiful lessons we can learn from sweets. See, this is a mixture. So many different types of mixtures are mixed there, but it all together it gives a wonderful taste. That's how anesthesiologists, especially when we are handling so many surgeons inside the OT operation theater, so many mixed people will come of different characters. Then we have to handle them and bring it to the result like mixture. Somebody will be like real cashew, somebody will be like groundnut, somebody will be like save, what is that? All those things. But we have to mix them so well that we should get a wonderful taste out of it. That's what the actually anesthesiologist should develop it. To develop it, how to develop it, I'm going to tell you something. And also think of the sweet and always be soft to everyone. Try to be soft to be everyone. Being soft is not a weakness. It is like jamun, best example. Second one is always the anesthesia department. We should have a beautiful coordination between the people along with the surgeon so that we can bring a bundi say laddu banta. Small efforts add up and becomes a beautiful laddu instead of having a simple single bundi. That's how actually we have to work towards one goal. Then it will be sweet. Then also it will be the purpose will be served because of that one. Third one is, and so many people are worried about, especially anesthesiologists, young generation of anesthesiologists, not here much, but what they are worried is, they worry about their physical appearance. Okay, my nose is not good, my color is not good, my body figure is not good and other things. Don't worry about that. I know we are very strong in our weakness. Instead of very strong in our strength, we are very strong in our weakness. Don't try to focus too much on your weakness. Try to focus more on our strength so that we can become really good human beings along with the good professionals. That's why the Jalebi always mentions, shape does not matter, nature does. Try to be sweet to everyone. And especially anesthesiologists, they are multidimensional rules, deal with multidimensional people and needs physical strength, mental stamina and emotional stability. That's what actually is very, very important. And evolution of anesthesiologist, we know how in allopathy it has evolution has happened. And most of the anesthesiologists get into this problem because of the burnout, emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, emotional instability, ineffectiveness, unhappiness, dissatisfaction at work. Burnout syndrome may lead to marital problems, emotional disorders, decreased empathy, physiological withdrawal from work, other things, and they get addicted to the drugs, especially younger generation, because they are trying to get the happiness hormone, dopamine from outside. Instead of that, if you start practicing something good things, you can start releasing the dopamine from inside. And also remuneration and recognition and appreciation. These are the problem with the anesthesiologist especially. And to cope up with the stressful life due to overwork and easier access to drugs, younger generation is, not only younger generation, even in our generation it used to happen, they get into drug addiction. That's why actually 3 types of diets is very, very important to have it in our life. One is physical diet. You know the physically what we have to eat and what the exercises you have to do it. We know everything, but we don't do it because always I say, when we are well, we don't do exercise. When we are ill, we can't do exercise. At least we should start, when we are well, we should start doing the exercise so that physically when you are fit and when you start doing exercise and other things, hormones starts releasing dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, everything starts releasing, then automatically we get the feel-good hormone and we get addicted to that instead of getting addicted to some external resources. And second is emotional diet, which is very, very important. Why we get into negative emotion is always, emotion is, what do you mean by emotion? It is E-motion, energy in motion. If it is a negative, then negative emotion. If it is a positive, it's a positive emotion. When you start thinking something positive, it becomes a positive emotion. Try to have it. Positive emotion, try to think always, try to think always, try to. It is not so easy to practice it. Try to think always positive, so that at least if you think one negative, you should think 3 to 4 positive things, something consciously. Start doing it for 1 to 2 months, then automatically over a period you will start thinking more and more positive things compared to any things. Instead of happy life, we always try to be perfect life. If somebody has got a Benz car, I would like to have a Benz car, even in spite of not able to buy it. Then automatically my stress starts increasing, because as the month end goes, EMI starts, month beginning. We get into the stress. Don't do that. If we should be happy with what we have it, and it is an emotional bondage with the family, that is much, much more important than the physical bondage what we have it. And always we try to have a standard of living. We want to have, oh, what a beautiful standard of living he has got. ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸಕ್ಕತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ ಅವನ ಮನೆ, ಸಕ್ಕತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ furniture. That is not actually gives the happiness. The happiness gives when we have a very good relationship with husband, wife, professional people and other things. See, we should try to get the respect from my professional people. I should love my personal people. That means spouse, husband, wife, children and all, we should love them. Whereas in the profession, we should always try to get the respect. Don't try to don't expect them to like us. Don't try to expect them to love us until we are something we want to have a good relation, other relations with them. Don't try to do that. When he is respecting it, actually you feel something good, and whenever complicated cases, those people should prefer us than liking us, calling for some ordinary cases and other things. See, most of the anesthesiologists, what they do is they try to impress other part of the doctors, surgeons, and get into lot of stress. Because when you want to impress somebody, it is very difficult to impress them, because every step you will be under the stress. That's why actually always I say, don't try to prove, try to improve. When you want to improve, automatically somebody will be observing and they give you the respect. When you want to prove it, every time you want to go on proving them, you will be under tremendous stress. I told you happiness, we are outsourcing it. When you outsource the happiness, automatically a lot of people will start giving you advice and start impressing other people. You get only the noise. When you start insourcing it, close your eyes and start analyzing yourself, then automatically you get voice. You can hear the inner voice which gives you peace always. Because the basic nature of a human being is we want to be always peaceful. That is the nature of a human being. These are all other outside, whatever we are doing it, that is what is creating, disturbing the peace and getting into the problems. That's why Bhagavad Gita, whenever we are actually under tremendous stress or something, we try to blame other people. We don't try to do that, because Bhagavad Gita beautifully in 6.5 it says, Uddaret atmanatmanam atmanam avasadayet atmaiva hayatmano bandhur atmaiva ripur atmanaha. That means we are, atma means here it is not the soul. What does it mean is the mind actually. Mind is the one which elevates you or even it degrades you, it is your very close friend and also it is your enemy. That's what actually, when your mind is peaceful, always you will have a clarity in your thoughts, and when you have a clarity in your thoughts, you can have real happiness in your life. Otherwise, try to always impress somebody, you get into stress. Don't try to impress, don't try to prove, try to improve. If you want to change any reality, you have to change your mentality. Otherwise, it is impossible to have changes in the reality. That's why you have to start from first thinking, thoughts, everything you start changing it. That's why beautifully Vedanta also says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. I am the one who is responsible for everything. It is not other people. Always we blame other people to have something. 90% of the times, I am the one who is responsible for everything. And one more most important is what I observed in not younger generation, most of the people during our period also, we don't want to do anything new because of fear of failure. Yes or no? Always fear of failure is the most important thing, no? That's why when fear, if you don't face the fear, that's why fear is the full form of FEAR is, anybody? Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise, FEAR. Face everything and rise is a beautiful word. When you have a fear, face and rise above that. If you try to avoid it, actually, it grows like the ant size becomes elephant size. That's why when you allow the fear, हाथी पर हम बैठेंगे तो जंबू सवारी, हाथी पर हम बैठेंगे तो जंबू सवारी, अगर हाथी हम पर बैठेंगे तो बೊಂಬು ಸವಾರಿ. ಆನೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಹತ್ತಿ ಕುಳಿತರೆ ಜಂಬೂ ಸವಾರಿ, ಆನೆಯೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಹತ್ತಿ ಕುಳಿತರೆ ಅದು ಬೊಂಬು ಸವಾರಿ ಅಂತ. When you have a problem or stress or fear or something, you have to overcome it by facing it. Otherwise, you will really, that hathi will sit on our, aane will sit on our body and we become bamboo savari. Okay? And the most important thing is always, I tell wherever I go, take care of yourself first. Because you are the most important person on the earth for yourself. See, it is not selfish. Taking care of self is not selfish. Taking care of only myself is selfish. I should take care of myself, because if I have got headache morning, I cannot give a good care professionally, personally, especially working women. Your responsibilities will be much more compared to us. You will be very free compared to you people, because you have to take care of yourself, otherwise really you will land up in problem. And yesterday I was jokingly telling, because most of the diseases ends with pati, complications. Be careful about the pathis, because it is a nephropathy, neuropathy, retinopathy, and at the end it is a cardiomyopathy, damar, out. You be careful about, you take care of yourself, not to get into the pathis, complications. You should take care of yourself. Taking care of self is always not selfish, it is very good, and love yourself to the maximum in spite of having all so many whatever shortcomings and in my life or other things. Okay? Otherwise, if I don't love myself, what is the mind? It behaves like a child. It expects appreciation from others. If somebody is not appreciating me, then automatically I get into depression. Instead of that, I should start appreciating myself. I should love myself to the maximum. Being anesthesiologist, I should love. For this physique, I should love. For my whatever capabilities, I should love myself to the maximum. Otherwise, you will get into problem. Start loving yourself. That is much more important. Don't try to compete with others. Compete always with you. Because when you start competing with others, comparing with others, this is a problem. Is always, see, Rose is also beautiful. Jasmine is also beautiful. Roja is also beautiful. Jasmine, heroine, is also beautiful. Both are beautiful. We cannot compare. That's why when you divert your attention from competition to contribution, life becomes celebration. It is such a beautiful statement is there. Try to be always love yourself. Don't compare with others. Always compete with yourself. Then it will be a beautiful life. And Kalinga Mardana does not mean anything. Always when we self-analyze ourselves, self-criticize ourselves, self-improvement comes, then Kalinga Mardana, nothing but is Krishna is the highest consciousness, and ego, frustration and anger, it is easy to tell, but it's difficult to follow. But we should start doing Kalinga Mardana in between every day or once in a week. Then we will have a wonderful life. And I told you, when you run behind the materialistic world, it is like what we can learn from the Swarga is, Devendra is always insecure, always he runs behind Lakshmi and other people and about his position. Same thing will happen if you start doing it. Don't run behind the materialistic things. You will be always under tremendous stress. Don't do that. Okay? And if money matters, if you want to make much more money, there is no end for it. You have to spend your life along with your family. If you don't give time to your family, you are not worth to be a human being first. Leave alone the professional. If you run behind the money, it is always, you get into problem. If it is only money matters, then Punit Rajkumar and ANR and would not have died actually. Vinod Khanna and all. They had so much of money, but still they could not survive because they didn't take care of themselves. We have to take care of ourselves is much more important. Try to do it. And always Be like Krishna inside the operation theater, especially senior faculties. When you have tried to maintain the Ranga Bhumi, that means good relation with everyone. If they don't come into the good relationship, be ready to do it for the Rana Bhumi. You should be ready for that, especially by supporting your juniors. And take decisions, and especially junior anesthesiologist, what happens is, in operation theater, when some other doctors, I am not mentioning who, those doctors will be literally like Draupadi, they will be raping them, but most of the senior doctors will be like Bhishma, Dronacharya, Krupacharya, they will be sitting like this. They don't support their Draupadi. Because most of the time now Draupadi is only because coming as PGs. Only females are coming, more PGs. Okay, it should not be like that. You should be like Krishna. You should actually protect our PGs. If you don't do it, what happens is actually from your subconscious will tell you you have not done your job and you will get into depression and stress. You see such anesthesiologist faces, always it looks depressive when compared to so many other anesthesiologists. And I told you recognition and appreciations are very important, 2 words in our life, which usually most of the anesthesiologists are not getting it. That's why you come out of the operation theater, start doing on-arrival block, labor analgesia, other fields, you start doing it, then we get the recognition. And usually most of the anesthesiologists are very talented, very intellectual. Why can't we start giving health awareness to the public so that we get recognition from outside? Then just you see your face will change. Because most of my close friends of cardiac anesthesiologists looks so depressive because they don't get any, not even a 1 rupee, 50 paisa chocolate, no. That's what actually it matters. It is not 1 rupee chocolate, but it matters how they give it. Gratitude, no. And always we say laughter is the best medicine, because when you laugh, usually dopamine and serotonin releases. Always try to keep your face in a smiling face. When you smile, you love the God. When you make others to smile, God loves you. That is what actually it is. Very simple. Laughter is the best medicine. If you laugh without reason, you require medicine. That is also very important. Always. And spirituality, we know Adhyatma, we call it as Adhyatma. Atmakke adyate niduvude Adhyatma in Kannada, beautifully it says. And if you are only in the materialistic world, what happens? Our life starts with this bottle, and after some time, we get into this bottle. Then yesterday, like this bottle, at the end, we get into this bottle. If you are when you are going through your life, instead of that, you develop the spirituality, you will become Atma to Paramatma, and you will have a wonderful life. What to do for that is start doing the yogic breathing, just deep breathing or Anuloma, Viloma and other things. Pranayama, lot of research is going on, Brahmari Pranayama and other things, where it brings down your heart rate, everything, and chanting of Omkara also brings down your heart rate. It makes you calm and more focused. And they have done, John Hopkins University, they have done the research. And also meditation, try to do dose A, hormone releases, dopamine, oxytocin, syntocinon, endorphins, serotonin, endorphins, and the new hormone, they have named it as Anandamide. And very simple is, you always try to have ABCD in your life. It is ABCD does not mean anybody can dance. That is also very, very important, because most of the diseases are lifestyle diseases. LSD. What do you mean by LSD? Is laughing, singing, and dancing. That is the answer for lifestyle disease. If you start laughing, singing, and dancing wherever you get the chance, you will be very happy, and lifestyle diseases will disappear. Obesity and diabetes runs in our family, we say. No, I don't agree, because obesity and diabetes runs in family because nobody runs in that family. That's why it is running in their family. Okay, try to do physical exercise. A for you should have always good attitude. B for believe in yourself. C for you should have a very good communication. And D is the discipline, you should have it in your life. Start doing it, automatically you get the respect in the society, and also feel great from inside. That is what is more important. And start celebrating the success and accomplishments. It is very, very important. I have all the right to tell people, give much, much more important for your passion, whatever you have it from inside, because this is the one, top one is I'm the one which is acting in Kannada movie. Another one is recently released, Madeva also acted. And Cultural programs I do, paintings I do, pencil sketches, I'm learning flute, singing, dancing, rangoli, guest lectures, gardening, and go for services for the most of the African countries. You can do it, but if you run behind the money, you can't do all those things. That is the problem. Then you have to get into problems. And try to be always powerful instead of powerless. What do you mean by powerful is very simple. When you go to temple, okay. When you go to Tirupati, usually wait for 4 to 6 hours. Then usually I have darshan of only for 10 to 15 seconds. But when you come out, appa enta olle darshana aitu anta, we say. That is because of the power of the God. Same energy you should develop it. When you enter into the operation theater, patient attenders should feel that because of your walking style, dress and energy, some doctor has entered inside. Not that some attender has gone inside. That's how we should dress well, walk well, and we should have the energy. That energy can come only through the breathing, thinking, and meditation. And develop that. People are not bad, they are different. And family is nothing but father and mother, I love you. And very simple, watch, full form of watch is watch your work, watch your action, watch your thought, watch your character, and watch your heart. This is what if you start following it, your life will be wonderful life. And develop 5 things: a mind which never minds, heart which never hurts, brain which never drains, touch which never pains, relationship which never ends. Try to develop those things. And it is allopathy, homeopathy, naturopathy. It does not matter. What matter is always sympathy and empathy. See, allopathy, homeopathy, naturopathy, sympathy and empathy means 5 pathis. Then happiness must be Draupadi. Because 5 pathis, no? If Draupadi is not happy with these 5 pathis, it is better to go to Tirupati and pray Lord Venkata Chalapati. That means you have to be spiritual to be happy. It is not an exaggeration. It is actually, if you start practicing spirituality, then you will have a real, very happiness. Having spirituality is very simple. Speak to the patient. Most of the times, Ostler has told, patient will tell you the diagnosis. Same way, listen with empathy, speak with sympathy to the patients. Start practicing these things and make somebody to happy. Nagu sahajada dharma, nagisuvudu paradharma. That is, DVG has told like that. Try to make others to feel happy. And see, these are all few my passions. Pot paintings and other things. Guest lectures. TV programs. Try to develop your passion. Try to follow these things, then you will be automatically happy. Don't outsource your happiness to the outside. And try to do pranayama and meditation. Simple things daily, 5 minutes of pranayama, 15 minutes of meditation gives you really control on yourself and start loving yourself in spite of all my deficiencies. Because physically I don't have any control. I have only control on everything comes from the body, stinks. That is a sweat, shit and saliva. But only 2 S's I have the control. One is a smile, another one is the sweet word. Start using it. You feel happy because when you make somebody happy, you feel more happy from inside. And give importance to everyone. Start giving importance to everyone. Then be like a Krishna in the operation theater. If some junior PG, rescue them. Like Draupadi, what he rescued Draupadi, same way you rescue them. Try to keep it as a Rangabhumi. If it is required, you be ready to have a Ranabhumi. Thank you. I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity, and also I thank everyone, especially it was a wonderfully conducted conference. I thank once again the organizers for giving me an opportunity.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of all of us, I sincerely thank Dr. Vasant for this excellent and sweet discourse on, and he has completely and comprehensively dealt with what is actually important in life. Life is all about balance, and he has just shown us the balance between work and personal life, family and co-workers, up to our patients, the balance between materialism and spiritualism, and finally living our life happily. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Always work with pleasure, not under pressure. This is what the statement actually.